Nutrition clearly plays a role.
Yeah.
Um, Talk to me about that, as well as are you using, I mean, there's a lot of what's the term? I don't know what the term I'm looking for is, but there's a lot of drugs that are being used, in other words, for brain, right? I don't know what's
Brain,
the
yes.
what's the term I'm looking for?
I mean, just
Progressive. Progressive, maybe?
for just medication for brain
Yeah,
injury.
people are using like
Yeah,
THC and other
yeah, all
things.
kinds
So
of things.
so tell me about both of those. Talk to me about the
Drugs
role
and
of
nutrition.
nutrition. Yeah, being separate. Keep them
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting working, in a hospital, and I talk about this on that particular post, is that when you have a brain injury, your metabolic need increases significantly. And the way I always describe it to clients, right, is that your brain is responsible for everything. And it regulates movement and emotion and feeling and thinking and all of that. And when you've had a brain injury, it's still doing all of those things while it's actually working to physically repair itself.
Mm.
And so you need a lot more nutrition, a lot more in. And what we find, which is probably not surprising at all, is that just like I was talking about, you have that time at the end of the day when you're trying to find the word you want to say and you just can't because you're tired, right? That happens if you're hungry too. So if you haven't had enough to eat, if you're not fueled and you haven't had enough sleep, that's going to impact a vulnerable cognitive system. So if you struggle with word finding or you struggle with remembering, it shouldn't be surprising that if your brain and body are not well fueled, those things are going to be that much harder, right? We see it in the hospital all the time. Like somebody doesn't have a good night's sleep, for example, and their cognition looks like it's more impaired. Or maybe they're barely eating and they're not functioning as well from a thinking perspective because their body's just not fueled. So, I don't do nutrition myself. I work with tactic functional method for nutrition. So I have a coach and I try to get my clients to also have a coach to help them eat more, to help support the recovery of their brain, but also their ability to function in the gym and their ability to talk and think better, because I think that's super important.